For this trip, I decided to stay behind the camera. It was just me and my dog Kane, heading north to follow a road that most people will never see, the Trans-Taiga. A place where the pavement ends and the wilderness takes over. In the beginning, it was all about the land, wide open, quiet, untouched. That's where this story really starts. You won't see many people in this footage, and that's on purpose. I wanted to let the landscape speak for itself. Raw, unfiltered, northern Quebec in its purest form. I didn't interview anyone, and I didn't point a camera at anyone who lives out here. People choose this life for a reason, and I wanted to respect that. What follows isn't just a trip. It's the unfolding of something deeper, out there, on the edge of the map. This trip wasn't sponsored by the following companies, but every piece of gear earned its place on the Trans-Taiga. Ford's Bronco. Built wild for the Trans-Taiga, Sasquatch suspension crushed gravel for hundreds of miles, pure off-road grit through the north. Turn Off-Road's heavy-duty swing arm and tire carrier. Held my gear rock solid, swinging open smooth at every taiga camp. Rotopax, revolutionizing fuel and water on the go, locked down, leak-free, and ready for every dusty mile deep into the wilderness. Kuat's swing arm, the pinnacle of transport, carried 20 gallons steady, then swung clear for camp setup with zero drama. Front runner's jerry can mount, built for adventures, locked my fuel tight in the Kuat basket, unfazed by the roughest gravel. Spam, cold or hot, it hits the spot. Quick, tasty camp fuel. No prep, no cleanup, just energy after long taiga days. DJI's Mini 4 Pro and Osmo Action owned the moment. These cameras captured the wild north in 4K, my Bronco's epic co-stars. Buckle up off-road, slide out and fold down tables. Solid, rattle-free, always ready for camp prep on the edge of nowhere. Knives by Mark, handcrafted in the USA, rugged edges for real work. From carving camp meals to daily trail chores. M Campana Fitness, power your adventure. Strength forged long before the trip kept me ready to haul, hike, and conquer each dawn. No sponsors, no shortcuts, just the Bronco, the gear, and the road that tested it all. The gear got me here, the wild kept me. Trans-Taiga. The journey begins at home, heading north with thousands of miles ahead. The familiar highways give way to the open road, crossing into Canada with that mix of excitement and focus that only a big trip brings. One night down, and the real push north starts here. As the miles roll on, English fades from the signs, and the traffic thins to almost nothing. Civilization slowly slips away, replaced by endless stretches of northern forest. By late afternoon, I reach the James Bay Road, gateway to the remote north, and find a quiet lakeside spot to camp. The kind of place where silence settles in and you know you've crossed a threshold. Morning breaks with a calm sunrise, the first light of the north. Kane's already on patrol, nose to the Bronco's tires, trying to flush out a squirrel that's gotten a little too comfortable. Up here, some campers feed the wildlife too often, so the animals wander in close without fear. A little farther down the road, I catch my first glimpse of some spruce grouse. To me, they look just like black chickens. I kept calling them bush chickens in my head. Kane made a half-hearted attempt to catch one, but he's not quite as fast as he used to be. A short drive later, I pull over at a Belvedere, French for lookout. Here, it's a set of stunning waterfalls, and the drone footage says more than I ever could. Back on the road, my destination is Relias 381. Relias meaning stopover. It's about 237 miles north of Mattagami, and from there, it's another 222 miles to Mirage Outfitters, my next fuel stop. Relias 381 is the only place for food, fuel, or a bed for hundreds of miles. Out here, it's more than a stop, it's a lifeline. At last, the beginning of the Trans-Taiga Road. From here on out, it's remote, rugged, and absolutely unforgiving. By nightfall, I pull off onto a narrow 2-track that needs 4-wheel drive just to get in. A quiet, secluded spot by the river near a bridge, the kind of campsite you don't find by accident. Drone up, and it's nothing but forest, water, and silence. Morning breaks, and I'm back on the Trans-Taiga. Along the way, I pull off at a lookout point, but the day's goal is Mirage Outfitters, my next gas stop. When I roll in, a woman comes out right away to check on me. They don't see many travelers by car out here. She's warm, friendly, and immediately falls in love with Kane. I buy my fuel, share a smile, and we're back on the road. From Mirage, it's about 140 miles to Brisset, and beyond that, the road gets ugly. It feels like you shouldn't even be out here, abandoned, forgotten. No campsites, no signs of people, just rough, jarring track. Eventually I have to stop, put the drone up, and find somewhere to regroup. Kane and I pull into an old dam access road that hasn't seen a vehicle in years. We walk it off, shake out the road fatigue, and settle in for the night. Tomorrow morning, we push through to the end. This is the final push to the end. Sometimes words don't add anything, so just take it in. Back on the move, I roll through Canapiscow, driving along the base of a massive dam. It's quiet. I stop the audiobook, roll the windows down, and just drive. This is the last stretch, the literal end of the road. made it. The end of the Trans-Taiga Road. The place I've been reading about for a year. I set up the drone, let Kane out, and clapped to get his attention. He's getting older and doesn't hear like he used to. Part of me wonders if this will be the last adventure like this we'll share together. The drone follows us down to the beach. The clouds break, sunlight pours through, and it feels like we're standing on the edge of a private ocean. I walk to the water's edge and dip my hands in. This moment's been a year in the making. On the way back, I stop at the sign where other adventurers leave their mark. I add my sticker to the collection, and Kane gets one last look at the water. The drive back begins, but it doesn't feel like a descent. For some, reaching the end is the climax. For me, it wasn't. What was supposed to be the last mile turned into the first. At that last marker, I made a small but symbolic change. I delete an old address I didn't even know was still saved in my Bronco's GPS, and in its place, I saved the coordinates of the last mile. An old path replaced with a new one. From there, Kane and I rolled back towards Mirage Outfitters, a stretch marked by quiet roads and small reminders of just how far out we are. Like this pine tree stuck in a pothole, a very Canadian traffic cone. When we arrive, the Canadian Red Cross is there training Cree first responders on their new emergency medical pod. Natalie, the same woman who checked on us earlier, makes sure we get the last room and a warm welcome. After days of wild roads and solitude, it feels good to be looked after. The next morning, I'm outside filling up from my jerry cans when a Cree man walks up and says, "A fox came to see you." I turn around, and there it is, just a few feet away, calmly watching me. Inside, Natalie's packed me lunch for the long ride south. A few Cree elders are gathered at the door. They'd never seen a dog like Kane before. They're filming him laughing, welcoming us back like old friends. It's one of those unexpected moments that sticks with you long after the road dust settles. The road out begins with one last drone shot, then pavement returns beneath the tires. After nearly 900 miles of gravel, the smooth surface of the James Bay Road feels like driving on clouds. I top off the tanks and head south, watching the sky reflect off the Bronco's hood as the miles unwind. We stop at the lone rest area on the James Bay Road, a place where locals honk and wave as they pass. Out here, everyone knows who's just passing through, and they make you feel welcome. Eventually we reach the checkout station. It's supposed to be open 24/7, but the door's locked, so this photo will have to do as proof. Matagami for the night, one step closer to home. The next day, Kane and I roll through North Bay. Beautiful views, friendly people, the kind of inland scenery that surprises you. But as the miles shrink, the traffic builds. After days of quiet roads, the noise, the chaos, the impatient drivers, it's jarring. Back home, the Bronco and Kane finally rest. Dirt and miles caked into every corner. A quick detail later, and the keys find their place back on the rack. The trip may be over, but the road changed something. For most, the Trans-Taiga ends at the last mile. For me, that last mile became the first, a new path, pointing forward.